Welcome to On a String Podcast with Logan and Sean. We just watched the Magic go up 3-1 on the Pistons. I
Shot.
mean, it it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to be honest, the fact that we're here. The team that has been the most frustrating team all year long. Their defense has been good all year, but offensively they've looked terrible. Now all of a sudden they're like, we'll just be the number one team in the East. Doesn't matter.
They fired their coach too. Like
Yeah, they pre-fired them. They already
it's
sent the email.
the last pod we were on, we were like, in it, I can see a world where the Pistons lose. We're living in that world. We're currently in the world where the Pistons get closed out possibly in the next game.
Shout out Magic fans roasting us in the comments because I posted the short of the Pistons Magic us saying like, oh, this is probably a last gasp for the Magic. I posted that like 30 minutes before the Magic went up 2-1 on the Pistons.
It wasn't great timing for us at all. But
Aged like milk, man. So shout out Magic fans who kept us accountable for that in the comments.
the funny thing too to me is both of these teams have been the most frustrating offensive teams in the NBA pretty much. Because on paper, the Magic should probably be in the East, probably a three, maybe a four seed if they play to their potential. And obviously the Pistons are a one seed, but the Pistons have been inconsistent on offense all year. And you kind of just drum it up to like injuries and little things, and they're gonna figure it out once they get everybody together and rolling. And it's like maybe they can't. Maybe this because what did they score? 88 points in this game? Like that's bad. And you can't tell me the Magic have that good of a defense. And they only scored 92.
When they lock in, I mean, they have a very, very good defense. Jalen Suggs is just a monster, bro. I love Jalen Suggs. I know you're a Jalen Suggs guy.
Gotta be. Hit that shot against UCLA for Gonzaga, man. Love that dude.
Legendary.
Love that dude.
Yeah, but the Magic's always had very good defense. There's been some ugly basketball, particularly in the East, which in my opinion rocks because that's the East I know and love. Ugly basketball, just gritty defense. We're gonna hit you. I like it. That's the East I grew up on.
Yeah, it brings it back to the Detroit days, the Knicks, the Pacers. Like it's real bad. Like it's that basketball that everybody like really hopes for, but weirdly complains about when they see it. And it's like, okay, what do y'all want? Do y'all want the fast-paced, flashy basketball, or do you want two teams beating the snot out of each other?
Bro, yeah, people who trash on the current era is like, oh, it was so much better 20 years ago. You know how much people trashed on it 20 years ago when the NBA Finals, Spurs Nets, the final score was like 67 to 64.
Yep.
It was like, what is this?
It's not even good basketball. They're just beating the crap out of each other. There's no sets even being run. They're just running around aimlessly.
Is this basketball or rugby?
It was better basketball. It was a better time.
It was. There were better vibes.
Yeah. Could you imagine SGA playing in that situation though? He would be on the
I like to
floor.
imagine it.
He would be on the floor for 40 minutes.
I
They would just
don't think it would fly.
they would just put a blanket over him. Just lay him down. Go night nights, SGA. It's time for you to sleep.
I
Dort
feel like
tries.
the refs back then didn't play with that.
Uh, no. They had more like balls to call stuff, and they weren't like really afraid of them. Probably because they were involved in so much gambling stuff too that they probably had like mafia people after them, so they were like, don't care.
Yeah. And then you had a guy like Joey Crawford who might just throw him out because he felt like it.
Joey, man, bring back.
I would love to see Joey Crawford against Alex Caruso. I want to see that matchup.
I, I know this. I know we're probably going to touch on this. I don't remember the rest of the stuff we were supposed to touch on for the NBA playoffs, but I just also want to reiterate how annoying all of OKC is. Um, I hate the entire team still. Lou Dort, hate him. Caruso, hate him. SGA, terrible to watch. Chet played at Gonzaga, and I don't like him.
That says a lot.
He does.
What do you
But
think about Booker's comments?
I loved him.
It was-
I kind of wish he would have gone a little bit deeper on it. I think he should have called everybody out because he's 100% right. It makes the league look terrible. Like, I don't like that in any major sport that the refs aren't held accountable to anything that they do. Like, I do kind of think the refs should have like a press conference after. Like, why did you call that? Like, if you're, especially the refs that always make it about them too. Like, let's get them on the podium. Like, why did you call the tech there? Like, what was the reason? Like, because there was no reason to call that tech there. And Booker saying like Caruso said, call a tech, and you see Caruso go like this and say tech, and it's like, so we're just letting Caruso control the game, and like that's your job as the ref. You're supposed to control the game. Like you're supposed to control like the you control the pace of the game, you control the flow of the game, and like once you start doing stuff like that and listening to the players, like it takes all credibility out of the game to me.
Yeah, the only other guy I've seen have pull like that is Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
And it's like,
and he
well, Caruso's bald. You think the refs are blinded by the baldness and they're like, maybe I did miss something.
could be.
Those lights are bright.
It might be a bald thing. I coached with a guy who was bald, and he yelled at a ref because the ref was going to give him a second tee, and he was like, "No, you're not going to call it technical in my own place." And the ref was like, "You're right," and just kept running down the floor, dude. And I was like, "I want pull like that. Like that's the kind of pull I want when I'm like when I really do this coaching thing."
He just straight Avon Barksdale'd him and was like, that's not a foul.
Yeah, dude, it was great. It was a great moment because everybody used to call him the GOAT. He has like 1,000 prep school wins, and we were all like, "Yeah, he's the GOAT of prep school basketball." And then he did that, and we were like, "Oh shit, he really is the GOAT."
I thought we were just saying that this whole time
Yeah, we
and
were
prove
saying stupid shit, but it turns out he really is the GOAT.
it. Man, to your point though about the referees, I'm glad you said that. It's always felt so weird to me that the players are not only held accountable, but publicly fined and scrutinized by the league. But the referees are so protected, and you can't say anything about them, can't say anything negative. Now, I know the refs have their own rules about things that they can say publicly and can't say publicly. And if anything comes out about it, then their job is immediately in jeopardy. We've seen that happen. So I understand there's more behind the scenes stuff, but the public, we are taking money from you and we're going to put out a press statement that you stepped out of line is that's always felt crazy to me because being a referee in the NBA is a more prestigious job than being a basketball player. There's far less referees in the league than there are players. There's like
Yeah,
500 something players who play in a season in the NBA, roughly like 550, somewhere in that range. And there's what, like 80 referees
yeah, probably.
who
That's
have
kind of
regular rotation.
yeah,
And then when we get to the playoffs, that number for referees cuts down.
hundreds.
It's always the names you recognized.
Yeah,
Just, I mean, Scott Foster, I tweeted it out when it happened, right when Scott Foster was announced for game four of Knicks Hawks. Is like, well, we know the Knicks are going to win this one.
yep.
The Knicks are like 13-2 when Scott Foster refs their game in the playoff or something like that. So
I don't understand why they don't look more into that stuff. Like if you see a team where they're lopsided wins totals with certain refs, you don't think the league should kind of like dig into that and maybe not let them ref playoff games specifically for those teams?
should they dig into them or is that their guy?
It might be Adam Silver's guy
Does
because
the league benefit from this Atlanta Hawks team going up 3-1 on the Knicks?
no, does not. Because also, no offense to anybody who listens to this podcast that's from Atlanta, but Atlanta Hawk fans are there for the vibes. They're not there for really for the games. Like that's not they're not like a diehard city because you have so many people in Atlanta from so many other places that it's I don't want to say it's rare to see a diehard Hawks fan, but you don't see a lot of them, especially in Atlanta.
Well, maybe
So,
if they got their Magic City night, there'd be a little bit more passion.
hey man, talk to Luke Cornett, the guy
Talk
who
about Poole in the league. That's unprecedented Poole. He's
yeah,
got say over other teams' stuff in a game that he has nothing to do
bro, if he was in the words of Jason Williams, they got Luke Cornett, man. What are you worried about?
with. Wimby who?
Yeah, you don't need Wimby. Who cares if he's a generational talent? They got Luke Cornett. He's more worried about strippers than he is anything else.
Can Wimby get promotional nights canceled for other teams he has nothing to do with? I haven't seen it.
I don't think he has that pull. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen Wimby come out and say anything against promotional nights yet. So to me, the only thing Wimby can do is have like a book club before games. Outside of that, he can't do nothing. Trash.
I mean, if I was in the NBA after Luke Cornett said those things and it became a thing, I would just start complaining about every single promotional night that was announced. I would have a guy that I pay to make sure I'm always up to date on what's the most recent announced promotional night so I can find a reason to nitpick it, especially if I played for the Hawks.
Would you have a burner account like KD, or would you be doing this just as you just sending out like, hey, I'm not doing this night?
I would have a blog. I would make a blog and maybe have press conferences on a weekly basis.
I like it. I like it. I'm here for it. We need some more. We need like I can see like Dylan Brooks doing something like that, just being extra petty for no reason.
I would love that. Any player who wants to do that and immediately gain a massive fan, unless you're like
Speaking,
Alex Caruso or Lou Dort, like there's a few guys unfortunately disqualified from this idea that I had. But if you're one of these other 547 players, just throwing
I'm
that
here
out there.
for it. We should get Dylan Brooks in on it. I feel like he would do it.
I think the guys we should get in are the Lax Bros. Get the Spencer brothers in.
Yeah, yeah, they probably have some pull, maybe. They at least know the promotional nights because they're probably also doesn't no. I was gonna say I thought one of them played for the Grizzlies for a second, but I don't think any of them do
The
anymore.
Spencer Bros?
Yeah, does one
Yeah.
play for the Grizzlies?
Cam.
Oh yeah, he does. So he probably doubles because the Grizzlies probably don't have enough money to spread it out. He probably doubles in like the front office stuff too. He probably does a little bit both.
I mean, if he goes to play for Portland, he might find himself as the GM,
Head coach,
head
water
coach,
boy
player, cheerleader.
for like $100,000.
Bro, we didn't put that on the list to talk about. That's a complete oversight by us. We have to talk about what's going on in Portland. That's an unmissable, has to be talked about.
It's one of the more depressing things I've ever seen a pretty historic franchise do. Like Portland's been around for a while. They had the Bill Walton years, they had Clyde, they made it to the NBA finals with Clyde, and now we're talking about just like we're just not going to do anything for a playoff push. Like we're not going to do anything. Tiago Splitter hasn't kind of proven himself a little bit to deserve a contract. And then we're reaching out to college coaches now and only offering them less money than they make at St. Louis. So I went ahead and sent my resume in. So Trailblazer fan, if you're listening, 250,000. I'll come out there and coach.
Bro, I can't wait for you to be head coach and me be assistant. I can't wait for us to run the Trailblazers, have our own like Ted Lasso show.
Yeah, it's gonna be great, dude.
On a string in Portland.
Yeah, it's gonna be and we'll have Dame will be on there with us. We'll make sure he's on there. Scoot. We'll have a whole little panel on occasion.
If we start breaking down X's and O's a bit more, I think we have a shot. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
Nah, dude, they're getting us on a discount.
Yeah. And
Like,
that's negotiable. We can negotiate the price.
yeah, I can go lower.
Yeah, we're just starting there.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, Tom,
There's some wiggle room, man. You don't have to get us shirts. I'll honestly like the old sweats that they had. I can't wear Tiago Splitter stuff. He's too tall. But like, if you got some shorter guys, just
we can
sit.
share it. If you give us Tiago Splitter's clothes, we can he and Sean and I are not very big people. We can make that shirt into two shirts, and we're saving so much money, Tom.
So much money and time, dude. You don't even have to look for. We're doing your coaching search for you right now. Like you don't have to pay a search team. You don't have to go out and like look for stuff. Payindeed.com, anything like that. We got you.
Don't even interview us. Like, actually, please probably skip that part.
Yeah. Don't interview us. I'll drive out there. You don't even have to pay for us to fly.
We'll drive road trip to every game.
Yeah, dude. I'll pack my two girls in the car. I'll pack you and Wendy up. We'll just go.
Yeah, somebody. Yeah, we'll get in touch with Tom. I know some guys.
Yeah, we'll reach out to
I'll
Portland.
call my guy Brandon Roy and see what we can do.
It's a done deal. It's a wrap.
Yeah. It's sad too for imagine being a Trailblazers fan and your season started with your head coach being arrested.
I had forgotten about that until they show that thing that I sent you from TikTok, and it was like, "Is this the weirdest NBA season of all time?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, it has been weird. I forgot Chauncey Billups got arrested."
Imagine that's how you start your season, and by the end of your season, nobody in Portland's talking about that anymore.
Yeah,
They've
you're a
got
problem.
bigger fish to fry than our head coach was arrested for ties to the mafia.
Yeah, now you don't even have a head coach because Tiago's probably gone, and you can't get playoff shirts. Two-way guys can't travel anywhere. Like, what are we doing? Like, I don't understand it, honestly. I guess it's your team running how you want, but
Good luck with that long term. He's trying to bring what he did with his hockey team to the NBA. And bro, I don't think you calculated it's a far different league.
who's this hockey team?
I believe Carolina,
Oh, okay.
I believe, and they're in the playoffs right now. And he turned them around and he's made something with them. I'm almost positive it's Carolina.
I was gonna say they're really good now.
Yeah. And it worked because they were in like financial trouble and he bought the team and he turned them around and he did cheap stuff like this. Like this is actually what he's known for. So he's doing, and long term, it may end up working for Portland because Portland is in more dire straits than I think people who are clowning on this realize. This is something that I've been kind of banging the drum about for a while about Portland. Like, don't look into those books. Don't look into the arena, particularly the arena. Don't look into that. There's a lot of things going on there that could potentially set up some issues long term. And he obviously sees that and he's trying to get ahead of it. And in his situation, Trailblazer fans, cover your ears. In his situation, he is fully on, I'm kind of in a win-win situation. Either my scrapping everything works and we become profitable, everything gets better, we get a deal to get a new arena in Portland, everything works out, or it doesn't. We polarize the fan base, and it makes it very clear to the NBA that Portland is not willing to play ball. And if the expansion doesn't pass, we can just move up a couple hours and now we're the Supersonics. And then he gets Seattle money.
Yeah, which would be crazy. That's
So it's
actually,
win-win for Tom,
yeah, he could care less.
actually.
Yeah.
And if expansion passes, Seattle gets a team and Vegas gets a team. If Tom were to call up Adam and be like, hey, what do you think the board would think about if we moved to Mexico City?
Oh,
You
you know,
Adam's not hanging up the phone. Adam's like, well, I personally, this is how I feel about it. And it's good. They would love that. That's an ideal
Adam's probably driving to Portland with a U-Haul himself and packing the team and just loading them up and going because he wants an international like Mexico City type thing so bad that I don't think he cares about much else. Like I don't even really think the Seattle thing makes me kind of wonder if there's like some sort of deal where they're like, hey, look, if we get Seattle in a couple years, we'll make sure you get Mexico City or something in Europe too. And it's like just a deal between Silver and the owners. Like this will all work out and we're going to get more money, but we're going to do it this way.
Oh, I can assure you, if expansion passes, we're going to see a lot of funky, weird stuff that doesn't make sense or statistically doesn't seem likely in a lot of places where their vote was shaky. And if it's a situation of like, let's say you're the Pelicans, you're not necessarily wanting expansion to pass because, hey, if we're leaving New Orleans, we have one of the oldest arenas in the league too. We're not in the best situation. We have the lowest local support in the league. If I want to boost my stock and boost my team, let's not pass expansion. Let me go to Seattle. Let me go to Vegas. Same with like Memphis.
My only thing, I'm going to say this because you hurt my feelings about the Pelicans right now. Like I'm trying not to cry, but
It's unfortunate how many times it's unfortunate you're a Pelicans fan because it always seems like I'm taking shots at you, but they just happen to be the perfect example for everything I talk about.
it just hurts my feelings. I'm going to say this. if they're forced to move to Seattle or any other city, I want the Pelicans to stay the Pelicans. I don't care where they move to. Whatever city has to put up with that trash name. I don't care if they move them to Nova Scotia, England, Paris. They're going to be the Paris Pelicans. Don't change it.
The Mexico City Pelicans.
I'm fine with it.
But if Adam and the league were like, okay, if we get your vote, New Orleans, to pass expansion, as soon as you're within the next 3 years, you can be Mexico City, you can be Kansas City, hell, you can be Vancouver if you want. Take your pick. And there's going to be things like that. I could 100% see it. And Portland is one, they have to kind of prove their worth right now, even though historically they have the resume. I mean, has there ever been a period in time of us being basketball fans, even prior to us being basketball fans, where the Trailblazers sucked for more than like 2 years? They've
No, dude.
always been somewhat competitive.
They've always been in the running. Like not necessarily in the running for the championship, but in the
Mhm.
running for the playoffs. They've always been at least in that conversation. Like I don't remember them being a lot like a top. Have they had a number one pick recently? In the last
The
like
last time they were up there that I remember was the Kevin Durant.
yeah, when Kevin Durant won because that would have been Greg Oden. That's right.
Mhm.
So
But I
yeah,
know they had a high pick one year. I think they took, was it Thomas Robinson? Remember him?
I remember him.
I liked Thomas Robinson back in the day.
I'm a Thomas Robinson guy.
I get it. Looking back, I think just younger, and I was like, he's cool.
Yeah, you just like yeah, I like him. I like the way he plays, kind of thing.
Yeah, because prospect scouting Logan of today would hate Thomas Robinson. They also, I mean, they picked Dame relatively high, but that's the thing. Like they're always moving a direction. They're not like a Chicago or a Sacramento where they're just either staying mediocre or staying bad. Like they're always putting together a team, whether it's the Dame CJ team, the Brandon Roy LaMarcus team, the Scottie Pippen, Rasheed Wallace team, Clyde Drexler team, Bill Walton. Like they always have a team.
I forgot they picked Tyrese Thomas, even though he still got traded to Chicago in '06. They've had a few years now looking back at it where it makes sense that they have had high picks, but we're talking like they had pick 11 and 25, 24, they had seven, 3 and 23, 7 and 22, six back down to, but you're back down to like 16 in 2020, 25, 25th and 19, 24th, 15th, 23rd, 10th. Dame Lillard, they picked 6 and 12. And then they're back in the low to high 20s for a number of years. They picked Brandon Rush at 13. Then it's Greg Oden 07. And then Tyrese Thomas, Martell Webster, Sebastian Telfair.
Oof.
Yeah. Those are some, but it's like you look at like a three, maybe 4 year period where they're in that top 15 range, and then it's back to like the 20s, the high 20s kind of range where you're
Yeah,
still
when they retool, they actually that is by definition how to retool because they immediately redefine what their team looks like and become interesting at the very least again. When we were talking about them having high picks, I don't know how we forgot the Scoot pick, the the Wimby draft, them getting Scoot because shout out Scoot, man. In that one game that they beat the Spurs, he had his moment. For all the Scoot believers out there, that was like, I told you, I knew he had it.
Yep. Scoot had his moment. It won't last, but he had his moment.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of the Scoot show. It's fun to watch in spurts.
Yeah, it is. He's a good player. He took some bad shots that game, but they still won, so that's what matters.
Yeah. We don't have to talk about it much, but since we're on the topic of the Blazers, they're now down 3-1 to the Spurs. Wemby is back from his very scary injury, his fall and his head bouncing off the floor 3 to 4 times. Right on the button, right on the chin too. The floor gave him a good right hook.
For somebody who's as graceful as he is, that was like a tough fall, dude.
Yeah, that was like the most painful worm ever attempted. That's what it looked like. He did the worm incorrectly.
Yeah, dope.
But that looks to be about wraps. I do love seeing the chippiness between Castle and Denis. I will say what I loved, I texted you about it when it happened. There was a loose ball in the last game that Donovan Clingan had on the floor. And immediately, even though I mean, it's basically it. Dylan Harper jumped on top of it to grab it with him. Dylan Harper, rookie Dylan Harper, grabs the ball on Donovan Clingan, knowing that UConn players are very much so drilled into their head to never be the one to let go of the ball. And Donovan Clingan's like a foot taller than him, one of the biggest, strongest players in the league already at his young age. And Dylan Harper's like, nah, I'll fight him on it. And if that doesn't show the player Dylan Harper is going to become, I don't know what does. And you know he knows that because he has Castle as his teammate.
Which makes the Spurs like the way they draft and the way they put together a team is one of the most impressive things that nobody really seems to talk about because like I saw somebody posted it the other day. The fact that Ginobili never left because especially at that time, I'm sure there was a team out there willing to give Ginobili the keys to the franchise
For
and just
sure.
be like, let's see what happens. Because we've talked about it there in that era. Like, there's a lot of guys that got the keys. That Steve Francis is one we always bring up. Like, he got the keys to the Rockets, and it's like that's kind of Dylan Harper. Like, because that's everybody's question is like, I think I forgot who said it, but Dylan Harper would be just as good as Cooper Flag if the roles were reversed. Because Dylan Harper's filling a role on the Spurs. He's not the main guy like Cooper Flag is. But if you put him in, if you switch the spots, Dylan Harper would be doing what Cooper Flag is doing. And I kind of agree with that, but I've also kind of disagree with that because maybe that's just Dylan Harper. Like, I mean, who knows? But I love Dylan Harper. I loved him in the draft last year. I love that the Spurs got him because that's a franchise you know you're going to go to. You're going to get developed, and you're going to become as good as you're willing to become.
For the record, I completely disagree with that.
Why?
I agree with the sentiment of Dylan Harper could be a guy right now to run the offense and show a lot more flashes and stuff. But
Oh,
Cooper
you.
Flag is special, bro.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I think the same thing. That was some other guy who said that. I didn't say that. I would never
that
go.
was another guy. I just
Yeah, I would never go against the Duke guy, dude.
fair.
You know, my heart is torn for Rookie of the Year. I think it should go to both of them.
Yeah, I was on the Cooper side of things. I think Cooper has been announced yet, Rookie of the Year winner? I don't think so.
No, they did six man so far and Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think they've done Rookie
Okay.
yet.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like Cooper's become the favorite now, but there for a hot minute, it was seeming like Khan was going to win it. I, again, for the record, never shook on Cooper. I've been kind of clearly Coop the whole time, but I understand the Khan side of it.
You didn't get like the pre-draft people who started just talking shit about Cooper Flag because he's a. I mean, there's history behind it. Tall white dude who plays at Duke doesn't really pan out in the NBA. You're not one of those guys who automatically just assumed because he was tall white went to Duke that he wasn't going to work.
I do very specifically remember you and I having a conversation of will Cooper Flag be like an all-time great player of his era, or will he be like a Larry Nance senior type player where he's a great defender? He's going to have some crazy highlights on the other end, but he may not get to the point where he's creating on his own and becomes a leader of his team. Does he become a Larry Nance senior or like maybe Detroit era Blake Griffin player, or does he become the LeBron ilk? And it seems like he
Seems
took a
like
turn.
seems like he's going LeBron route, dude.
Yeah.
Seems like he's going LeBron route. Since it's going on right now, and I know we're gonna go to a break here in a little bit. Obviously, we got to talk Denver Timberwolves. I the first thing you have is the Rudy Gobert crap, and I'm not gonna say anything nice about that dude.
You
I
want
hope
me
he gets.
to? You want me to take this part?
Yeah, you can go ahead and take this part because I refuse to say anything nice about him, and he may or may not deserve nice things said about him.
I do think it's funny. He is the guy everybody hates. Like more than even, I think universally he's hated more than Lou Dort. I think universally Rudy Gobert is hated more than Karl Malone.
But that's because a lot of people don't know the history of Karl Malone. Like, there's a lot of people out there that just think he's like one of the all-time best scorers to ever play the game and one of the best power forwards, and that's all they really know about him. They don't know the dark side of Karl Malone at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to give Rudy some flowers. I'll be the guy. I'll be the guy to stand up and everybody boos and throws tomatoes at.
I'm gonna sit here with my ears closed. I ain't gonna listen. I'm gonna be like my 6-year-old. Nah, 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 nah.
I'm gonna hear my fiance in the other room just yell, "You need to leave," as I start because even she hates Rudy and she doesn't even know why. It is kind of, I think it's kind of a career defining series right now. It's one of those like, there's a reason why I've been in the talks for Defensive Player of the Year my whole career. But I think it's in a way similar to when Iggy won Finals MVP in 2015 for holding LeBron to like 38, 9, and 8. Because LeBron was so good at that time, that was seen as like, have we ever seen a defender this good? LeBron only had 39 last night. Rudy Gobert has held Jokic in game one or in their game two, their first loss. Jokic had 24 points, 15 rebounds, 8 assists. In their second loss, he had 27 points, 15 rebounds, 3 assists. And in their third loss, he had 24 points, 15 rebounds, 9 assists. And everybody's been like, Rudy has been dominating him. But when you look at the shooting splits, he's 8 of 20 from the field, 7 of 26 from the field, 8 of 22 from the field. And over these three losses, he is shooting 3 of 20 from three.
Okay, because that was gonna be my point. He can be good at defense because he doesn't play a lick of offense. He doesn't even try. They don't even guard him. Jokic usually stands on the nail. Like he doesn't. If Rudy Gobert goes up the perimeter, he's standing back at the nail. He does not give a rip if he even catches the ball. He doesn't even look at him half the time.
Hey,
Rudy Gobert is a terrible basketball player. He's just tall.
he's throwing up some hook shots this series. It surprised me. He's throwing a couple shoulders into a hook shot, and they went in.
What, one of them out of 20?
They were two.
All right. That's the argument we're going with. He made two shots, two hook shots, and fuck
Hey,
Rudy.
shout out Rudy. He's this series Andre Iguodala. Another thing I want to talk about, shout out Ayo Dosunmu. He's having his moment in the sun. Shout out him. He went from being underappreciated in Chicago to getting MVP chance in Minnesota in his first
Yeah.
series with them. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. And he was one, like right when it happened, everybody who watches basketball more than obviously Chicago does, anybody in the front office was like, I know the fans do because the fans watch basketball more than the front office does in Chicago. But everybody was like, what the hell is Chicago doing letting Io go to Minnesota? Because that's like exactly what they need. And Chicago is just going to continue to suck.
To be honest, Chicago probably didn't even know he was on their team.
Yeah. They're like, who's
They were
this?
probably just checking through the roster.
AEO. Who's AEO?
They couldn't even say his name, and they were like, "Trade him,
We have Scott Hall on our team. AEO. What are we doing?
trade him, trade Kobe White. We'll get rid of all of our good guards, and we'll build a team around Josh Giddey."